And we're back with another episode of Before You Buy, that show we give you some straight up gameplay and our first impressions of the latest games releasing. As usual, it's me, Jake, and today we're taking a quick look at Days Gone Remastered, which released a few days ago amidst the chaos of the Oblivion remaster and Expedition 33. It's still worth going back and talking about Days Gone because it's a game that a lot of people have a lot of love for, and now it's been cleaned up a little bit more and updated and re-released. Essentially a version of the game fully taking advantage of the PS5 and PS5 Pro, which is where I played and captured gameplay here. It's all spoiler free and running on a PS5 Pro. Now, this game has been updated in the past. I remember playing it on PS4 Pro when that was updated, I believe. And then in the earlier days of PS5, it did get a 60 FPS patch. So if you were playing the PS4 game on PS5, it would run a little better. But now with this remaster, there's a little bit more of an overhaul to it. Now, at first glance and even side-by-side comparisons, it doesn't look like the craziest remaster or anything like that. But I'll say that if you have a good TV and an eye for detail, you're going to appreciate some certain things. Now, how this works essentially is you can buy it, or if you have the game already, it's a $10 upgrade. I was also able to easily transfer my PS4 save that I had in the cloud, so if you have that, you can do that. I've seen some people have some issues with it, but for me, it seems like it worked no problem. I was able to load up an old save and just jump right back into this world, and yeah, it does look pretty damn good. It feels like it's a little bit more vibrant, but overall it's sharper and the frame rate is smooth as butter. There's a couple of different modes you can select. What you see here is mostly running on the enhanced mode or the PS5 Pro mode with a decent resolution, the PSS or whatever it's called, upscaling, and 60 frames per second. You can get 60 frames per second on one of the other modes as well. And yeah, I was just genuinely surprised how good this game looks. It never looked bad by any means, but now it's just extremely detailed. You look up close, you can see all the details perfectly. Everything, the character models are super crisp. If you put 200 hours into this game, or if you were just playing it the other day and jump right in, okay, you might not be the most impressed, but I don't know, I thought it was looking pretty good. But there's a couple of specific instances where you do really notice a difference, and I think even some of the nitpickers will notice it here. Specifically, night looks really good now. From the lighting changes to also, I guess, maybe a little bit of art style changes, night is just way darker. They have a better use of light and dark and darkness and moonlight, and it makes night a little harder to see and a little scarier, and I think that works. But what really completes it is that the headlight is more important now. Deacon's headlight on the front of his motorcycle, the way the lighting works, it's just way more of a vibrant and real light. And riding around at night just feels a little bit more riskier, a little bit more scarier. I don't know. I just really appreciate that. Also, the draw distance. Man, it always had a good draw distance. This game was always very happy to flex you seeing mountains in the distance and stuff like that. But now, those mountains in the distance just look way sharper, almost kind of eerily realistic. They did a really good job. The biggest thing though, like I said, is that it looks sharp and the frame rate has been really good. No issues for me or anything like that. It seems all smooth as butter. The only problem I really encountered was an NPC audio glitch that I believe was kind of in the original game, where some NPCs that you save on the side of the road, their dialogue is way lower. It's actually kind of insane that this hasn't been fixed, and especially they're charging money for an upgrade. I was hoping things like that will be fixed. I don't know, maybe it's just some deeper problem in the game's code, or it only happens sometimes, but that was the only noticeable glitch I noticed after playing for a couple of hours. Otherwise, it's just been really good to jump back into this world and have a good time. But there's other stuff with this too. There's Horde Assault, which they added, which you can access right from the main menu, and this is just a good time. If you like the violence and the action that this game provides, and in some story moments really provides some real spectacle, here you can just essentially jump into it at any time. This Horde Assault is a survival arcade mode. You can pick a bunch of different characters, so you can run around as Boozer if you want, which is really cool, and it's all essentially about shooting, getting big scores, and upgrading your gear. There's going to be specific objectives and little tweaks and stuff like that. Say, for example, kill 15 swarmers with Molotov cocktails. But essentially, yeah, you're scoring, upgrading your gear, and you can get weapons that were not in the main game, which is cool. But with all this, there's also run modifiers, which are nuts. Like there's some normal stuff like unlimited stamina or like ammo or something like that. But there's also a run modifier that just has exploding freakers. So they all just explode. It is on-screen chaos. It is perfect, great end game or post-game content. This is the stuff like the experimental weird stuff that breaks the game. This is the stuff I like to see added into games. This is just good. And again, just going back to the whole thing, the big picture, revisiting it a little bit, what you get with Days Gone is just a really, really unique game. This game has a hardcore fan base for a reason. It's just cool, man. The whole concept of the game really works great. It's not without its flaws, but playing as this guy, driving around a zombie apocalypse, riding your motorcycle, upgrading that motorcycle is just a ton of fun. But along with all that, they actually added a really good story. There's like a great story with compelling characters, namely Deacon St. John, the main character, portrayed by, of course, Sam Witwer. If you're a Star Wars fan, you know what the deal is with him. But here, he has an incredibly unique character. This person seems kind of like, you know, he has some humanity, but he also seems really broken down by this zombie landscape. He's a little kooky. He's a little crazy. He mumbles to himself. He shouts. He's grumpy.
Almost there. Yeah, come on, keep going. Almost there. Oh, shit's killing me.
And it just makes for a really interesting protagonist to play as. And then the other star of the show is the motorcycle. This motorcycle is so much fun to ride around through these landscapes that encourage off-road, on-road, jumps, splashing through puddles, doing, you know, hairpin turns, all kinds of good stuff. There's a boost mode, and essentially as you play and as you progress and as you earn and as you unlock reputation in these settlements, you can upgrade your bike. And that makes a difference too. You can make it more resistant to damage, more fuel efficient, all kinds of stuff. Melee combat, I still think to this day, is pretty simplistic and not as satisfying as it could be, but the gunplay works. It's pretty straightforward, but it's easy to use. It works as it should, and getting some headshots on some freakers is good. But where the game really excels is getting groups or hordes of these freakers that just pile after you. It's still a sight to behold to this day. The technology behind it, but also like just the fun factor that it brings, you know, tossing a grenade or a Molotov cocktail into a literal pile of zombies is so cool as you're just running, sprinting, maybe you're hopping on your bike and trying to ride away from them. It can make for some really desperate sequences that are just incredibly memorable gaming moments. Plus, the DualSense is supported here, so you're gonna feel like it would rain on the controller, like the little taps of rain. You're gonna feel all the terrain on your bike, on your controller, in your hands. You're also, like, the braking with the trigger feels really good. Accelerating with the right trigger also feels responsive. They try to make it feel a little bit like pulling the throttle on a motorcycle. It's just a game you should probably check out. If you're a little like open world fatigued, like some of the stuff here might not get you, but most of it I think is really, really good. If you like a single player, kind of open world adventure, just with a couple of unique hooks, you know, a unique spin, this is worth experiencing. Also, it's a shame that like it seems like they're never gonna make a sequel to this because, like I said, these characters are great. The bike mechanics are awesome and could have all been expanded upon in a sequel. Maybe one day Sony will rethink their ways. I don't know. I think a Days Gone 2 could really blow it out of the water and essentially be a perfect game. I know some people think the original Days Gone here is perfect, but I think a Days Gone 2 would be amazing. I guess I'm using my platform to say, hey, they should do that. But yeah, other than that, really, this is a really cut and dry, simple video. I don't want to waste too much of your time. Days Gone Remastered is worth replaying if you haven't played since PS4, I would say. And if you've never played at all before and you have a PS5 and you're looking for some single player adventure, open world roaming, this might be it, man. Plus, like with the Horde Assault, like, you know, an upgraded photo mode, speedrun mode, stuff like that. There's just a lot to this package now at this point. You've gotten all the updates this game has ever received, and now in a nice, shiny new PS5 package if you're willing to pay up for it. But that's a before you buy. You know how this goes by now. I give you some pros, some cons, and some personal opinion, and now I want to hear yours down in the comments. I'd love to know your general experience with Days Gone. Definitely let us know if you're new to it, if you played it back when it first released. Do you love it? Do you have some issues with it? Like, let's talk Days Gone. And again, like, what do you think we would see from a Days Gone 2 sequel? I think that's kind of fun to talk about. So let us know your dream sequel in the comments. Who knows? Maybe someone out there will see it and they'll make it. I doubt it, but hey, it's worth a shot.